This is Melissa Wagenhofer for Week 5 Journal. On November 26th, Mrs. W, which is the special education teacher, and Mr. J, who is the speech therapist, completed this interview. Also interviewed was parent for student, and parent A will be called Mrs. A, and student will be called student A for confidentiality reasons. They were informally interviewed, and the purpose of the interview was to note student A's strengths, identify behaviors of concern, and better understand the environment variables that student A's teacher and parent believed could be predicting or maintaining his inappropriate behaviors. Mrs. W stated that student A is a third grade special education student with ASD. He is 9 years old who seems to be accepted and well liked by his peers. Student A's academic strengths are in math and reading fluency. The fluency is when reading material within his reading group and his peers. And she also stated that student A loves anything related to horror films and likes to be accepted by his peers. Summary of the interview was that when student A is in a group setting with peers and is expected to transition or is given independent work, he talks out and is off task, which appears to be maintained by attention, particularly from his peers. Although the behaviors occur throughout the day, Mrs. W noted that talking out and off-task behaviors occur more frequently and for longer time periods after student A has participated in a stimulating activity, such as recess, and toward the end of a long instructional period. Mrs. W stated that she has tried seating student A in different chairs and or desks during class and is currently using a token economy system. This is where the student can earn tokens for desired behaviors and receive immediate reinforcements with the desired or chosen activity, and she's using this more frequently. Mr. J is his speech therapist, and he stated that student A's strengths are in reading fluency and socializing within a group of his peers. Mr. J mentioned that student A oftentimes reflects on horror films and will distract others during therapy with his comments. And to summarize the interview, when student A is in a group setting with peers, he talks out and is off task, which appears to be maintained by attention, particularly from his peers again. Mr. J noted that the talking out and off-task behaviors occur more frequently after long periods of time after student A has participated in an activity or a large group. Mr. J stated that he has tried individual therapy to curb the behaviors, but student A does not gain appropriate skills through independent sessions. He is unsure what strategies to use to keep student A's focus at this time. Now, parent, Mrs. A, she stated that student A's strengths seem to be in math and his weakness seems to be in reading and writing. However, Mrs. A stated that student A struggles with reading and writing homework. Ms. A states that student A is very social and enjoys his friends. And she stated that she's grateful for this because most children with ASD struggle with making friends. However, play dates are one-sided. And she also states that student A has a great fascination with horror movies as well. And to summarize the interview, Ms. A states that math comes easily for student A, and completing math homework is a breeze. Student A will use any and all avoidance tactics at home to get out of reading and writing homework. Student A is very social, but play sessions are one-sided, where it's simply student A's perspective, and if it changes, or if playmates try to change that, he becomes frustrated easily, acts out, yells, or interrupts others' play. And Ms. A states that she struggles in finding ways to get student A to complete his reading and writing homework, which also reinforces appropriate ways to communicate his needs or wants during play. And interviewing student A, he says that he really likes math and really does not like reading. Student A says, I can read, I don't want to. And student A says that his favorite part of the school day is lunch and recess. This is when he gets to be with his friends. When asked about the classroom, student A says it's boring. He doesn't like it. Student A says things he likes to do at home is play with his friends and watch scary movies. To summarize the interview, math is student A's favorite subject and he dislikes reading. At school he enjoys socializing at recess, and at home he enjoys socializing and scary movies, and he feels this school is boring. Now, the way that I'm operationally defining the problem behaviors is through the information gained through the interviews of all, and it's based on the target response chosen, which is talking out, noncompliance, and off task. Talking out was chosen because it occurs frequently and is disruptive to teachers and other students. Talking out was defined as any vocalizations that are not teacher-initiated and are disruptive to others. Out of turn or unrelated to academic context. Non-compliance was defined as not following directions within 5 seconds and included arguing with the teacher when she gives instructions. Student A's teachers also stated he exhibits several off-task behaviors such as getting out of his seat, staring off into space, or just complete. What's the word I'm looking for? Where he just ignores them. There you go. Ignorance. And these are likely interfering with the amount of time he spends actively engaging in academic work. Therefore, off-task was also determined to be a behavior of concern. Off-task was defined as the student not engaged physically or verbally with materials and is not looking at the board, overhead, teacher, or seat work. He is not contributing to or writing reading assignments, and he's not following along and on the correct page during reading and is not quiet when the expectation is to work independently. In conclusion, I have initially learned that student A's behaviors. I learned that student A exhibits similar behaviors in different environments connected to similar stimuli or needs. I feel that I have identified the behaviors of concern, and I better understand the environmental variables that student A's teacher, therapist, and parent believe could be predicting or maintaining his inappropriate behaviors. And I've also created a summary statement about the behavior that could be used to build a plan for behavior support. So the next step is to observe him and fill out an ABC form and make a plan.